We keep hearing them say they're prepared and ready to respond, and that they learned a lot of lessons from, of course, 3 years ago, it was Hurricane Joaquin. And that was what dumped all of that rain on us. It was the system coming from that. But that rock dam is in place. Those temporary pipes and pumps are in place. So we will continue to monitor conditions there at the Columbia Canal. I've been watching a news conference there with state officials and the governor on South Carolina's response plan to Hurricane Florence, what is in place and what will come in the days ahead. The storm will have an impact not just this weekend, but of course long after it's gone. You heard there from many different state officials. I want to give you a quick rundown. They are warning you that it's going to be dangerous to get out there on the roadways. They're also checking in on the coast. Right now, I want to head over to Judy and Dominus. And you guys, the picture behind you, it's Myrtle Beach, and we know that they are dealing with wind gusts there. We are glad to have you with us this morning. Hurricane Florence has weakened. We say that lightly, weakened, but still a very powerful storm. It's a Category 2 storm at this point. We have team coverage this morning. People who live at Town Park right now, they look out their living room windows and they see this. It's the old Babcock building. But picture this, in 20 years, when a Virginia developer gets in here and recreates this whole scene into luxury apartment living, this will once again be a big piece of the city within the city. Yeah, Dondi, I've been listening into that news conference with the chief of police there in Virginia Beach and other local leaders and state officials. And what I can tell you is, yes, 11 people are dead. 6 people have been hospitalized in the wake of this shooting. We do know that the shooter is dead after an exchange with police. Now, we also know that one of the individuals who was injured was a Virginia Beach police officer who the chief of police says was actually saved by his bulletproof vest. So a lot of information still coming in at this point. That news conference still going on at last check when I just checked a moment ago. We do know this happened in Building 2 of the municipal complex. The shooter, according to the chief of police there, was a longtime employee of the Public Works Department. They are calling him a disgruntled employee. At this point, though, they have not identified him. But again, they are saying that that shooter is deceased. Now, that scene is still very active at this point. The chief of police saying they're going to be combing through this for some time. They have called in the FBI due to the extent of this investigation and the severity of what happened in Virginia Beach today. Not a lot at this point in terms of motive of that lone gunman, but of course we will continue to keep an eye on this following the latest information out of Virginia Beach in what they are calling one of the most tragic days that Virginia Beach has ever had. The chief of police there visibly emotional as he delivered that update to the press just a moment ago. So we are going to continue to keep an eye on that. But again, 11 people dead, 6 people still in the hospital at this point at the latest check there in Virginia Beach. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on Sunrise. I'm Sam Bleiweis. Hurricane Michael, you can see here, knocking on Florida's door right there south of the Panhandle as a Cat 4 storm. We can actually step out in the midst of it. So let's step out here and I'm going to show you what's going on out here right now. Clint's going to follow me. Columbia police have left the scene here, but you can see the aftermath, and this is going to be the story of the day for us. Yeah, I've been outside for maybe, I don't know, a minute and a half now talking to you, and I am completely soaked at this point. So be mindful of that. If you're taking the dog out for a walk this morning, trying to get out before the brunt of this, be mindful of some of these sporadic wind gusts, the heavy drenching rain. It's going to continue to be an issue this morning. Mary Leland, back to you.
All right, Sam, you can get undercover if you want. Quick question for you. Tell us a little bit about the difference in some of the rain bands you saw earlier and what you're feeling now.
Absolutely. So Clint, we're still on. We're going to go ahead and you can pan this way for me. So what we saw earlier, we first went out to Lexington this morning. We drove on I-126. And if you've been with us throughout the morning here, we told you about 3 hours ago that when we were driving out to Lexington, we saw some of that pooling on the roadways there on I-126. And we know that DOT had reported that. I'll show you where there is some water here on the roadway. So come on over here, Clint. Let's show them. When I got out of the car, first thing I saw was, as you can see here, the water pooling up here on the sides. We had some major issues here in the Midlands, but of course nothing like what Florida got over the past couple of days. Others are still recovering from Hurricane Florence. And today, Senator Lindsey Graham took a tour of the damage from that storm and heard concerns from residents in the PD. Our Caroline Hecker was there and has more. I spoke with Rabbi Jonathan Case here earlier, and he told me this is a chance for us to come together as one, of all backgrounds, of all colors, of all races, of all religions, for us to come together and pray together and mourn the people who are lost.
America is better than this.
And that's something that the rabbi said to me over and over again, that America is better than this. We will hear from all three rabbis tonight. We will also hear from the president of the Jewish Federation of Colombia. And again, as Judy and Greg had just mentioned, the funerals for those victims began today, and it was marked also by a visit from the president there in Pittsburgh.
Jay Gray, NBC News, Pittsburgh.
And back here live in Columbia at Beth Shalom Synagogue, we expect also to see Jennifer Pinckney here tonight, someone who knows the tragedy of gun violence in a house of worship all too well. Now I want to bring in Holly Emore. She is one of the spokespersons for Interfaith Partners of South Carolina. Holly, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And we were talking about this off camera, Holly, about the importance of having an interfaith conversation on a day like this one.
It's a twofold issue here on Millwood Avenue. For pedestrians waiting here at the crosswalk, they can wait for minutes as cars whip by in both directions. They don't stop for pretty much anything, but the problem is pedestrians are walking across the street anyway, trying to fit in between the cars that are going by.
You know, I just spoke with one teacher and I asked him, I said, is this a political issue? And he says, this is not a political issue. This is a moral and social issue. We should be funding our teachers and making sure that they have all the tools they need to succeed. I just spoke with a number of people from Dorchester 2, actually. A lot of people here from Dorchester 2, and they tell me that they are a severely underfunded district, but they overperform. They are a well-performing district, and they say that is all on the backs of teachers. Oh, 1,000%, you guys. This is about students, right? This is about the students in the classrooms, right? Is that what this is about? Yes, so we are live here with a bunch of teachers who just made the march over. Hold up your signs, y'all. Show us what you're out here supporting today. Yes. You know, I just spoke with some teachers from Marion and Florence counties, and they said, you know what? There is a difference in need in a place like Marion County or Florence County versus a place like Richland County. They say the needs are different for students in more rural areas than they might be in more urban areas. But at the base of it all, the base student costs, and you guys talked about this a lot, but one teacher I talked to, she said, you know, we are operating on a 2009 base student cost of less than $3,000 per student. She says that has not come up at all. This is 2019. She said we have to adjust for the times and adjust for what students need nowadays versus what they needed 10 years ago. It's a completely different landscape in the classroom. This one is...
That's our Valencia orange juice there, yep. Super good, super fresh.
I just want to let you know, I like my mimosas heavy on the champagne.
So yes, so this is
like 2 drops of orange.
That's right. I went heavy on the blood orange. You'll go light on the
women after my own heart here.
Well, millennials say it is now commonplace to ask your date about their financial history. A survey by Bankrate found that millennials are nearly twice as likely as their elders to say they'd be comfortable discussing money-related topics on a first date. That includes topics such as salary, credit score, student loans, and credit card debt. On the first date?
Maybe the second date.
Maybe like 2 years in. Yeah. Well, Alex is not only a great athlete, he's also a great teacher. So Judy, in my quest to find the Southern in me, I decided to give it a go.
Hey!
I got
Oh, nothing to it.
Did you really make it? I got it. It only took a few tries. Actually, it took 7 tries. But on the 8th try, I got it.